Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Farrington Show. Robert Ziggy Ziegler here, coming in with a reaction to a pretty miserable Notre Dame game. Uh, it's been a heck of a season so far, but this Ohio State team, it turns out, is just a buzzsaw. So right now, it's just the start of the fourth quarter. Notre Dame's down 31-15. I went on to DraftKings, not sponsored, by the way. The spread's 21.5, and it's a disaster. So I have no idea how the show's going to do. We don't talk a lot of college football here, but I just needed somewhere to go, honestly. It's Paul is in Atlanta right now. He spent like $3,000 to go to this game, so he's doing pretty bad. Jack will be back sometime next week. Producer Zach has been MIA for who knows how long. This is just a tough one. We knew this Ohio State team was good going into the game, but there's really nothing I would have liked to see more than Ryan Day upset. That's not at all how this game went. And Notre Dame, they did the thing. It's like the Minnesota Vikings, right? They gave me hope at the beginning. You open the game with what? Like a 10-minute long touchdown drive. You sit back and think, okay, that is exactly what Notre Dame needs to win this game. Because it was, right? Notre Dame had a game plan coming in. Yeah, BP 420, that's what we get for beating IU. That's true. But Notre Dame came with a game plan. Grind the clock out. Use Leonard on the ground, throw passes only when you have to, and just vibe. Have a good time. Marcus Freeman looked into it. He was having a good time. And then Ohio State's offense took the field. And whatever illusions you might have had about these teams being on an equal talent level, I think the Notre Dame offense and the Ohio State defense are probably on an equal talent level, or at least close. This Ohio State offense, Jack sent me a text tonight. He doesn't think the Pittsburgh Steelers could have stopped this offense. And I'm inclined to believe him. It feels like every single guy playing for them right now is going to be on the field on Sunday in just a couple years. Obviously, Travion Henderson, despite not having his best game, was perfectly serviceable. Quinshon Judkins, incredible runs. Igbuka, Jeremiah Smith when it was needed. Just so many players on this Ohio State offense were talented. And Notre Dame, again, this is a great season for us. They simply did not have the talent on defense to keep up. I was optimistic going into this game that at least they could keep it close. Maybe the thought was, well, maybe like you could look at the game and say, well, if Morrison were healthy or if Riley Mills were healthy, this team could have done something. That's not what this game was. This game was absolutely miserable. So, one of the things we've got going here, Jordan Love comes in with a comment, the GOAT Ziggy. Thank you very much, Jordan Love. But you shouldn't be on the show. You should be working on completing some passes and getting better decision-making. But I just figured I'd sit here, react to the fourth quarter. We've got a little bit of an audience here. This is tough. The chat can keep coming in. I'll react to what you guys say. I'm happy to engage with the chat. But, man, this was a tough game. And, the atmosphere was pretty good, right? Like the field, it wasn't overtaken by Ohio State fans. There were plenty of Notre Dame fans in the stands. You could see the engagement there. Shree guy, are you at this game? I remember you texting Paul that you messaged Paul that you might see him in Atlanta. I don't know if you're at this game or not, but yeah, as a Notre Dame fan, I did see this coming. I'll be honest. My optimism was just that they could keep it close. What I was really hoping for wasn't that Notre Dame would just be completely and utterly out-talented. And again, as I said at the opening, that's just what you saw this game, particularly in the offense-defense matchup. Notre Dame had a good season, right? There's going to be people who come in and say this Notre Dame team, they're fraudulent. What did they do in the playoffs? They beat an IU team that people say sucks. That IU team didn't suck. They beat a Georgia team without their quarterback. They beat choker James Franklin, Penn State in a big game. But, that's just not what happened. Not at all. It was a good run from Notre Dame. But this Ohio State team, that's a fumble. That is a fumble, and it's Notre Dame ball. You know what? F it. I believe. I'm back on the Notre Dame train. We can change the title after the stream. Notre Dame got the fumble. But this is what they do. This is what Notre Dame does, right? They get a big play, and they want me to sit here and think, all right, Notre Dame's going to get it done. Is Notre Dame going to get it done? Yeah, that's a fumble. That is very clearly a fumble. They could, maybe. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. People are saying, I'm trying to bring in that optimistic Paul, right? You remember early in the season, Paul decided he was going to be optimistic Paul about the Minnesota Vikings. We saw how that played out. Optimistic Paul did not go very far. I do want to review just a little bit, though. The drive when I knew this season was over, when I knew we didn't have a chance, it was the last drive of the second quarter. And why do I focus on that drive? Well, you can look at what Al Golden did. Al Golden is not a dummy. He's a great defensive coordinator. And he tried absolutely everything to get pressure on Will Howard, right? What did he try? Well, he tried phantom blitzes. He tried going actual cover zero. He tried a few defensive line shifts, though maybe not as much as I would have liked. He tried drop 8 coverage. He tried absolutely everything you can do, and nothing worked. Absolutely nothing worked for this Notre Dame team. We have not been able to get pressure on Will Howard all night. And if you can't do that against this Ohio State team, if you can't force them to play your game, I don't know. You go back and look at Ohio State's hardest games of the season. The Oregon loss, that was just tough. Anyone could lose to that Oregon team. I think their worst games of the season were that Penn State game and obviously the Michigan game. Those were games where those teams, a combination of luck and Michigan and Ohio State being weird against Michigan, just decided to play Michigan's game. But look, it's 1st and 10. Riley Leonard's got the ball. We're only down 2 scores. We've scored once this half. And that is not how you want to start that. Not at all. You do not want Faison to get tackled in the backfield on a reverse sleeve. Jordan Love coming in here, you have God on your side. You know, we always do say at Notre Dame that Jesus roots for his mom's team, but this just doesn't seem like that game. I don't know. Ohio State is the godless heathens that are taking care of us today. But if we had Rudy Rudiger on the sidelines, you could bring him in. Maybe he'd get a sack. But Leonard drops back at 2nd and 9 here. I feel like I'm broadcasting games. I used to broadcast Notre Dame football games. And he has to throw it away on 2nd and 9. Not exactly the outcome you want. And I thought about putting on my Carroll Hall jacket for this game. You know, I was a big Carroll Hall guy. Carroll Hall sort of sticks with you. But I had to bust out the Notre Dame jersey. The way I was at Notre Dame for the IU game. And in the bookstore, they talk about this. Like, they don't sell the jerseys of players on it anymore. They just sell they sell generic numbers. They sell like number 1 because Notre Dame's number 1. They sell 11 for the number of national championships. They sell 24 because it's 2024. I put on number 12 here because I was hopeful Notre Dame would get the 12th national championship tonight, and that's not happening. We've got some NFL questions in here, and Leonard completes a pass deep to Jaden Greathouse. That's going to be, a 25, 30-yard gain? Okay, you know what? Paul's right. It doesn't matter if Notre Dame's going to lose this game. I've got to be optimistic, Ziggy, here. I've got to just sit through this, watch the game, have a good time. We've got a couple of NFL questions in here. I'll get to them. Claimer in GKS, who's my second favorite team in the division. I think it's got to be the Bears. Got a big Bears fan, Weston Dell. Riley Leonard is in the pocket. He's under pressure. He rolls out a little bit. Incomplete. Not going anywhere. But the Bears have a certain kind of haplessness to them. Like, the Packers can't be my second favorite. As much support and love as you guys have shown the channel, this Packers team is just, they're too good. They ruin the Vikings, it feels like, every single year. So they absolutely can't be my favorite. And then the Lions had haplessness for a while, but this year they beat us twice. So that's tough. That's absolutely tough. Midwest Mountain Man asked if I lit a canticle for St. Sebastian. I actually went for St. Augustine this game, but I should have done St. Rita, patron saint of hopeless causes. Because, boy, howdy, does this Notre Dame offense look hopeless. But they're moving down the field. Riley Leonard's gotten the first down, and I'm not sure I'm a fan of that play call. Negative plays, tough run. And Claimer GK, yeah, the Vikings swept the Packers this year. That's true. But look, how much history do we have with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers ripping up this Vikings team? I don't want to hear it. I absolutely don't want to hear it. Who do I want the Vikings taking in the draft? I haven't done a lot of my pre-draft stuff. I'm going to do a lot more looking at tape later into the year, but a cornerback would be nice. That's really all I got. Maybe a wide receiver 3. I don't know exactly. Again, I'm going to have to go to the board, but soon enough we'll have our pre-draft content. And I don't know what the infatuation is of these quarterback draws for Notre Dame. I don't get it. They've been relatively effective, but that time it didn't work. At a certain point, Riley Leonard has to be able to throw the ball. Calvin Jones comes in and asks, should I switch from the Ravens to the Commanders? I'm tired of losing in dramatic fashion like the AFC Vikings. First of all, the AFC Vikings are the Buffalo Bills. Second of all, switching away from the Ravens because you're tired of your team not being competent and you want to be a fan of a team that wins. Jaden Daniels is incredible. He's had the best rookie season since, I don't know, Dan Marino. Maybe better since then. Even better than that. But you can't switch off the Ravens. They're good. You're a fan. Stick with it. All right. It's a big fourth down. Notre Dame has got to go for it, and they have got to convert here. Looks like it's going to be, 4th and 5? Mitchell Evans got a 7-yard pass, and for the record, Ken Raines, people are saying now that Ben Johnson's gone, the Lions are going to have an offense that doesn't have a lot of trick plays. That's just not true. Dan Campbell loves the trick plays. He's just that guy. You can tell it from the special team stuff, too. But big play. This is for it. This is, if Notre Dame doesn't convert this, the game's over. Leonard's in the backfield, drops back. He's under some pressure, but he gets a chance to complete a throw, and it is complete again to Jaden Greathouse. You know what, Optimistic Paul, once I turned into Optimistic Paul, this Notre Dame offense started moving. They are absolutely charging down the field. Now, of course, here's what's going to happen. Notre Dame got an incredibly lucky fumble, and again, they needed a penalty on this drive, just like the last one to convert a first down. Ohio State's just going to go down, score a touchdown, and win the game. Notre Dame's going to lose, but you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm Optimistic Paul here. We're bringing this in. Leonard is actually throwing the ball now. See what happens when we throw the ball on offense? I mean, usually Leonard throws an incompletion, but this time it's a little bit different. I really hope that Notre Dame wins this game. I'll have to go back and you can edit titles live, actually. I don't know why Paul said you can't do that, so that's going to be okay. But yeah, Paul and I actually, one of the first things we did together football-wise, he and I were the student broadcasters for Notre Dame football. The first road game I broadcasted was that 2018 or was it 2019 Michigan blowout. We were supposed to go to Dublin together for a game, but that got canceled due to COVID. But I actually got my start doing football media broadcasting games. Oh, what a pass and incomplete. There's going to be a flag on that. Maybe pass interference. We'll see. Op Ivy Punk asks, do you think Optimistic Paul results in good outcomes? But when Paul is optimistic, Paul, it curses your teams. I think Optimistic Paul results in good outcomes for the person who's watching. And we've got 88 people in the chat right now. I just want to give a thank you to all of you. I'm reading the chat. I'm responding to you. Usually we do things a little bit differently here. We've got Paul Farrington in the building with Jack Weinberger, producer Zach, having a good time. Oh, yeah. You can't complain about a PI flag there. I love when like defenders will just murder a guy and then complain about a PI flag. It's always a good time. But usually it's Paul, Jack, producer Zach here. It's just me tonight. Jack and Zach are MIA. Paul is in Atlanta right now. Nighthawks asks what content's going to come out during the off season for us because we are primarily an NFL show here. Leonard on another draw going absolutely nowhere. It's going to be 2nd and goal. But for off-season content, we've got some really exciting stuff planned for you. Usually we do some fun stuff, right? So there'll be more games, more drafts, that kind of stuff. But the NFL is a full season league. So we do a full free agency preview and react. We do a full draft season preview and react. We react to the latest in coaching hires. Like we were on top of it when the Packers hired their defensive coordinator last year. And then, by the time the draft stuff's over, it's time for season previews. It's training camp. It's preseason. The NFL offseason goes by like that. So you can see last year we produced tons of stuff. That throws just a little bit too high. Good coverage from Ransom there, but it's going to be 3rd and goal here. So and all that to say, we've got tons of off-season content planned for you. And if folks have ideas for off-season content they want us to do, as we said, we are really considering going to Green Bay for the draft. We are working on the logistics right now. We're excited to announce what plans those might be if there are any soon, but that is hopefully on the horizon. People say the NFL offseason takes forever. Maybe it's just because we make 2 videos about it every week. But no, Green Bay does not need a new quarterback. That's not your guys' problem. But it's 3rd and goal here. 9:38 left in the game. Leonard drops back, surveys the field, rolls to the left. And that is incomplete all day. Jaden Greathouse doesn't even have a chance on that. And, we said just a couple days ago, a couple plays ago, it was a big 4th down. Big 4th down here. Claimer and GK, don't worry. There will be plenty of Packers off-season content. Blaine Mather asks about light UFL coverage. That's an interesting thought, actually. We haven't tried any of that. When we first started this show, I wanted to be a fan-controlled football league channel. Paul, fortunately, has much more sense than me. But we're kicking a field goal? Can I not do math? No, wait, I can do math. And it misses? We miss the field goal? It's a 27-yard field goal you shouldn't be taking because it's a two-score game and a field goal doesn't change that. And you miss it? See, this is I tell this to Paul every time. I hate when people say take the points. Because it's not like you get free points. You can always miss. You can always miss. Okay, I don't want to overreact because this game was over. But what? Seriously? How Mitch Jeter had been great, and it's a 27-yarder, and oh man. Oh man. Oh. It's one of my favorite philosophy professors here, Trenton Merricks. He went to Ohio State for undergrad, Notre Dame for his PhD. So this was the Trenton Merricks Bowl. He couldn't have lost this game, but I will say this: here's Tony Ball coming in. You can celebrate Tony. I know you're a big Ohio State fan. Congratulations. Tough game for Notre Dame, no doubt about it. That was a tough miss, but look, it's when you're down 16 and it's blank and goal, you have to go for the touchdown. Because let's say you score that field goal. It's not a one-score game. You still have to score twice. It's not clear Notre Dame's going to get 2 more possessions. And the fact is you need a touchdown there and you need the 2-point conversion. I don't get the call. It's great if you're trying to cover, right? Jack hammered Notre Dame against the spread. It would be good for that. But oh, right, Tony Ball. You're the one who said you love the Badgers. You just don't like that Notre Dame's not in the conference. Fair enough. You know what? Go Badgers. Fair enough. Yeah, Hayden Perkins is right. If you're enjoying this, hit like on the stream. Come into the comments. We're reacting. We're just having a time. I'm not expecting this live stream to go anywhere. I'm just here. I'm just trying to have a time. I'm just trying to process this loss for myself as a Notre Dame fan. This was really, really tough. You know what? Paul's sister went to Wisconsin. I'll do a Go Badgers. I will absolutely do a Go Badgers. One of my big regrets as an undergrad actually was I was supposed to broadcast a Notre Dame Wisconsin game at Lambeau Field. I've always wanted to go to Lambeau. I'm sure I will get to someday with the success of this channel. But can we get a few Go Badgers in the chat? That's if you're wondering about Paul's sister, one of our mailbags a long time ago, she was on it. She did the producing. I'm not sure if that'll happen again, but second. Yeah. Delicious. I love water. Yeah, we got some Go Badgers going. We got Boss in the chat with the Go Badgers. Yeah, Go Badgers indeed. It's yeah. How do you miss the 27-yard field goal? Like, if that's not Notre Dame this game, I'm not saying that Notre Dame should have won this game. This is a good Ohio State team. They've been a buzzsaw for anyone. We played them better than Oregon at least, so I guess that's nice. But missing the 27-yard field goal is just a disaster. That feels like something that would happen to the Vikings. Well, it doesn't feel like something that would happen to the Vikings. That is something that happens to the Vikings. Hashtag Blair Walsh. That's what I got. But I don't know. I will say I do want to talk about not just this game a little bit, but the college football season. I know we're an NFL channel. We most talk about the NFL. But I'm curious what you all think. I'm going to put this to a poll, actually. Was the new CFP format a success? I'll give my opinion on this. I thought this year's college football playoff format was a huge success. And I think actually like the biggest indicator that it was a big success, I'm seeing some no's here. But for me, I think the biggest one has to be like the Notre Dame Penn State game. And why do I focus on that game? Well, Notre Dame was 5 and Penn State was 4. Think about last year, all the discussions that would have turned around, right? It would have been, oh, Notre Dame is they beat the common opponents by more, but they had the worst loss. Penn State had a tough one, but like they had some tough losses, but those were against better teams. It would have just been that endless debate. The difference this year is Notre Dame and Penn State got to play each other, and Notre Dame won. And people say, yeah, there were too many blowouts, whatever. There were blowouts in the 4-team format. There were blowouts in the national championship in the 4-year format. People say it's so drawn out to follow. It's not more drawn out than the NFL playoffs. The NFL playoffs have games get blown out. Like, it's just blowouts happen. Anytime you have good teams face other teams, it can happen. Happened a bunch in the 4 team. Remember LSU, Oklahoma? That Oklahoma team, everybody agrees they should have been 4. So I really enjoyed this format. I feel like we got to see a lot of good games. You got to see some teams like Arizona State play really good games. Bowl games. I mean, how many players didn't opt out this year that otherwise would have opted out for some mediocre bowl game? I thought it was a lot of fun to get to watch the games this year. And I don't know. I really enjoyed this format. It seems like most of you did. Now, obviously, there need to be some changes, the seating and the rest, etc. But 12 teams is obviously better than 4. I think we just need to push it back a week, maybe cut a game out of the season. I don't know. It's college football is just in a very strange spot right now, and I worry we're getting towards the 2 mega conferences. I guess I should say something about the games. It's the middle of the 4th quarter. Unsurprisingly, Ohio State once again is just obliterating Notre Dame. It happens. Poor Iowa. Poor Iowa. Just dominating the Badgers. This is a tough year to be a Wisconsin Badgers fan. It's been tough for a while to be a Wisconsin Badgers fan. Have y'all had any good teams since Melvin Gordon and Russ came through? I don't know. I'll be honest. I started watching football in 2017. I kind of only watched Notre Dame. Boy, howdy. I wore this Notre Dame 12 jersey, by the way, just because I was hopeful that Notre Dame would get their 12th national championship. Didn't happen. Pretty big disaster. Badgers basketball having a year, though. Here's hoping they can beat the Bruins. Well, I'm not hoping they can beat the Bruins. My mother went to UCLA. But you all say, here's hoping they can beat the Bruins. Man. I'm sorry. It's this is a tough game for me, the Notre Dame fan. I appreciate every single one of you being here. It means a lot. This has been an incredible season for us. Our channel has almost doubled during this regular